Donald Trump's propaganda network, Fox, is in total cover-up mode. This is what state-run media looks like in authoritarian regimes. We're seeing it right here. Now, as Donald Trump stated that he wants to occupy Gaza with American troops, and the response from countries in the Middle East like Jordan, like Egypt, like Saudi Arabia, and other countries saying that is a declaration of war, essentially. So Fox is trying to say, oh, this is just a sophisticated negotiation by Donald Trump. They've been pushing this again and again. I want to show you some of the things they're saying, but I also want to show you specifically how we uncovered at the MeidasTouch network these specific talking points that are regurgitated from the authoritarian regime, the Trump regime, to Fox and the feedback loop. So first right here, I want to show you Kayleigh McEnany, Donald Trump's prior press secretary during the first Trump administration. Here's what she has to say about playing multi-dimensional chess right here. Here, play this clip.
Well, the media didn't listen to that. Those gathered in the room, Caitlin Collins, others, because I watched through the channels last night and it was absolute pandemonium. I mean, the freak out was only second to June 27th, the day that Joe Biden had that disastrous debate. And when you look at it, I just thought to myself, they haven't learned the lesson yet. And the lesson is this: maybe Trump is not trying to take Gaza. Maybe this is a grand part of a negotiation to get Iran to come to the table, to get Iran to hold back the proxies, to get Iran to stop its nuclear warfare on the world. Maybe that's it. My lesson to the media, this one line I wish they would take: President Trump is playing four-dimensional chess. You all are playing checkers.
If they even have a game board.
If they even have a game board, yes.
Not quite so sure.
And so this was part of the talking points that they were parroting. We saw that in the evening with Sean Hannity. Here, play this clip.
The U.S. will take over the Gaza Strip, and we will do a job with it, too.
Now, like Trump's tariff threats and tough negotiations with Panama, Venezuela, Denmark, Mexico, Canada, this is likely just the first chapter in a complex, ongoing art of the deal negotiation. But once again, for the millionth time, the Democratic Party is just overcome with hysteria. You decide.
Okay, they were saying it's a complex chapter, or the first chapter in a complex negotiation. You don't really see how complex it is, but then they had Benjamin Netanyahu on, who Benjamin Netanyahu, after, I guess, somewhat looking uncomfortable that Donald Trump was saying the quiet part out loud the prior day at the press conference. Obviously, Benjamin Netanyahu was basically, told by Donald Trump, or he's telling Donald Trump, or they're just coordinating it together. No, we're going to go all in on leveling Gaza, having American troops occupied, because look at what Netanyahu said. And this statement right here is sending shockwaves once again through the Middle East, and it's going to make life a lot more dangerous here in the United States and abroad. Here, play this clip right here.
But the actual idea of allowing first Gazans who want to leave. I mean, what's wrong with that? They can leave. They can then come back. They can relocate and come back. But you have to rebuild Gaza. If you want to rebuild Gaza, you can't have this is the first good idea that I've heard. It's a remarkable idea. And I think it should be really pursued, examined, pursued, and done, because I think it will create a different future for everyone.
So, then the regime, the Trump regime and Fox, who are basically one in the same, right? You have Donald Trump's Secretary of Defense is the former Fox host, Pete Hegseth, who had zero qualifications and experience to ever even be near a senior position, frankly, at anything, yet alone to be the defense secretary. But this is what regime propaganda looks like, because it's all propaganda tools. So you've got Hegseth, the former host from Fox, on with Laura Ingraham, the current host at Fox. You may as well make Laura Ingraham the Secretary of Defense. Here they are saying, oh, Trump's an outside-the-box thinker, multi-dimensional chess here. That's what he's doing, outside-the-box thinker. Play this clip.
Are on the table because we're not going to lay out exactly what we would or would not do in this particular context. This is an outside-the-box thinker who understands, Laura, the definition of insanity. which is trying to do the same thing and hoping for a different result. And in Gaza,
So our senior researcher, Asen, ACYN, I'm sure you know Asen before. He gets all those great clips from Snapstream is the device he uses to get all of those clips, if you were wondering. Asen talks about how the same talking points are regurgitated. You'll hear the talking points. Insanity's doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. As Aaron Rupert says, good pulls by Asen here from MeidasTouch. One thing that jumps out to me is how Fox News is using literally the same talking points as the Trump administration. They wake up, they plan the messaging, they push the propaganda North Korea style, Vladimir Putin state-run media style. This is what it's like to live in an authoritarian regime. It's happening right here. Here, play this clip.
Insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results.
the definition of insanity is attempting to do the same thing over and over and over again. And as the president and prime minister pointed out last night,
as our defense secretary said famously today, Pete Hegseth, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again.
President Trump is an outside-of-the-box thinker and a visionary leader who solves problems that many others, especially in this city, claim are unsolvable.
The president is willing to think outside the box.
We might as well look at one of the world's longest problems and bring in a leader who thinks outside the box, who's crazy may just be crazy genius.
And folks, I should note as well, there are protests happening across the United States now. I know corporate media is trying to silence the images of some of these protests that are taking place, but I've seen big ones everywhere from the state of Washington to the state of Michigan. We've seen them here in California, in Los Angeles. You see them in Colorado. I've been seeing them in other places as well. And these are growing in size right now. And I think we're going to see bigger and bigger ones develop. Here, state-run regime media, Fox, is interviewing MAGA Republican Josh Hawley, and they talk about eliminating the IRS and bringing in the External Revenue Service. Let me play you this clip and let's talk about it for a second.
So yes, what's happening is Trump is exposing all of this. He is cutting off the liberal supply chains, as it were, and the liberals are just losing their minds. They're totally losing their minds. We need more of it. You mentioned the IRS. I love it. I love Trump's idea to get rid of the Internal Revenue Service. Let's make it the External Revenue Service. Let's start making these agencies work for the American people.
So Donald Trump's whole concept with External Revenue Service, again, it's part of his WMD, his weapon of mass distraction, but Donald Trump's kind of idiotic talking point, moronic talking point, distraction talking point as prices go up, as housing is less affordable, as life is made so much worse under the Trump regime, as he's gutting basic services, red states, blue states, as he's deporting his own supporters, as he's revoking TPS even from his own supporters, as Elon Musk is taking your data and jumping into social security stuff and medical records and all of the stuff, as all of that stuff is going on. I mean, we're seeing here the Trump regime, the Trump administration, and people push this idea of, oh, we're going to do the tariffs this, tariffs that. But at the end of the day, what have the trade war that they started with Canada and Mexico, Trump backed down right away. Here we have, again, the Fox host, who's now serving as Secretary of Defense on Fox with Benjamin Netanyahu saying, we're going to give you any weapons that you want. Here, play this clip.
we've supplied munitions that were previously not supplied that are useful in eradicating radical enemies, and we are committed to continue to do so.
Now, one of the things that, Jesse Waters has to say, or that Fox has to say, since Democrats don't control any aspect of government right now, Republicans control the House, the Senate, the presidency, the Supreme Court, everything. So they got to pin something on Democrats now. So the crazy talking point that they came up with was somehow that U.S. aid, which Elon Musk destroyed, which provided aid to vulnerable people internationally. They were like, well, U.S. aid and then all of these congressional offices and everybody, they were using Politico, which is a pro-Biden propaganda outlet, and that they were using Politico. It's like, what in the world are you? This whole entire thing is like made up. And by the way, Politico, you think Politico was pro-Biden? Politico's owned by like a right-wing company and was like literally anti-Biden. But this is what regime media tells you. Here, play this clip.
And we just found out the Biden administration was paying the press. During the last 4 years, Politico received $26 million from the federal government. $8 million just last year. The Biden administration was paying a DC insider publication that happened to never report anything bad about the Biden administration. Well, what did they pay for besides good press? The government says it was for subscriptions to Politico Pro.
Here is Jessica Tarlov, the only sane voice on Fox, talking about what do you even talk? You're going to move millions of people from one country to another country? Like, what are you even talking about here?
In its entirety. But you cannot say to all the neighboring countries that they just need to make room for millions of people that they don't want in their...
Why not?
Then you are the world's policeman. Then you are interventionist. Then you are going back on every promise that you made on the campaign.
States. They don't appreciate our climate or food. Oh, so what should we do? Let them live in rubble and hate the Westerners and hate everyone else? And
Where
the Jews?
are you shipping? You can't make Jordan open up. You can't make
this makes the Arab world have to step up.
Yeah.
And it's smart.
It's not about forcing Jordan or anyone else. It's about making people realize that for economic success in that region, we need to have peace and a rebuilding of Gaza.
Then Fox covers this, where the reporter asked Donald Trump, can we ask you about your Gaza proposal? And by the way, in this image, you have Donald Trump, his Attorney General Pam Bondi, and the corrupt, bribe-ridden Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas were all in the Oval. The Supreme Court justices just celebrate in the Oval Office now. I mean, that's how corrupt this regime is. Here, play this clip.
Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you. This is a great day.
Can we ask about your Gaza proposal? A lot of people are talking about it, obviously.
Everybody loves it, but this is just not the right time. But we'll maybe do something later. This is a very important and, in my opinion, solemn occasion. So I don't think we want to talk about other subjects.
Here's Tarlov saying, where are you going to send 2 million Palestinians? Like, what are you even talking about here? And Jesse Waters like, we'll send them to Greenland. This is how ignorant, arrogant, and despicable these people are. Here, play it.
Saying, we could help.
We could take a few, but you're talking about 2 million people.
We'll spread them out. Maybe some could go to Greenland.
If you want to know.
And then finally over here, you have Kevin McCarthy going on Jesse Waters, and they're trying to justify why Elon Musk, an unelected billionaire, is now having access to all of our private information, and why his Doge now has access to medical stuff, social security stuff, bank records. All this private stuff has been handed over to Musk's crew. And so you have Kevin McCarthy, who's been pushed out by Trump and the other MAGA Republicans as speaker, going on Fox with Jesse Waters and saying, well, Musk is like our Thomas Edison. He can do whatever he wants. Here, play this clip.
I'm sorry. Elon Musk is the Thomas Edison, Michelangelo of today. The man is brilliant. And you may not have elected him, but this is what Kennedy actually told us. Don't ask what you get from your country. Ask what you could do for your country. These young individuals volunteering, sleeping on the cot because they could be making millions of dollars, but they're willing to use their brain power, the technology, to who? To represent the hardworking taxpayer and speak for your money for once, where you actually have a say in this.
Yeah, Musk's...
I mean, that's some ridiculous stuff. And at the same time you hear that, we now learned that Doge aides, so, he sends those 19-year-old kids in and they take over all of our information. They're in the Medicare agency payment systems. And Elon Musk is investigating what he thinks the fraud is. So him and his team are now looking through your Medicare files. Democratic Congress member Goldman says, Elon Musk gave Trump $250 million, so Trump handed him control of America's checkbook. Musk and his 20-something Doge cadre can now access your social security numbers, home address, medical files, and more. This is unprecedented corruption, an invasion of your privacy, and a threat to national security, to which Elon Musk has the audacity to respond, "Corrupt politician says what?" I mean, the level of corruption here is the only thing comparable to it. I mean, and this to me is even worse. It's like North Korea. It's like Putin's Russia. And by the way, Putin is laughing at the combination of Trump's authoritarianism combined with idiocracy here. It's really shameful. You know, and to the rest of the world watching, we're fighting every day here on the MeidasTouch Network. To those here, I want to let you know in the United States, until they rip this microphone from my very hands, I'm going to be fighting for you each and every day. I'm going to be calling it out. I'm going to be exposing it. We're going to have our researchers on it. We're not going anywhere, but I need your help to grow this YouTube channel. Help us get to 4 million subscribers. We're almost there. Hit subscribe now. Thanks for watching.
Can't get enough Meidas? Check out the Meidas Plus Substack for ad-free articles, reports, podcasts, daily recaps from Ron Filipkowski, and more. Sign up for free now at MeidasPlus.com.